Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen. I am your host for the next hour. Glad to be with you. Even though I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, I am pushing through what I'm dealing with right now. I've been down for a few days, so I'm not in the studio. I am at home. But my main man, Matt, who we refer to, aka White Soul, is at the booth at the table. Matt, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing today?
Man, I could be better. I could be worse. I thank God that I'm 6 feet above ground and not 6 feet under. We want to thank all of you that are starting to come into our social media platforms. So please like, tag, and share this conversations with others. We're going to do something a little bit different. We've been trying to change things up just a little bit. And so we're going to allow for the next 15 minutes as we talk about what's on my mind. We're going to allow you guys an opportunity to come in, and we're going to, if you could, put that in the social media stream. Matt, the number is 989-921-7107. Once again, that number is 989-921-7107. So if you're listening to us on the FM dial, on your radio, in your car, in your home, or wherever you may be, you can have the opportunity to call in. Now, let me tell you something. We keep it clean around here. So we're going to ask that when you call in, please be mindful that this is a family program. And so we're going to ask that you please make sure that whatever you have to share or to say, that the content is in line with us being on the airs with the FCC. Ain't nobody trying to get banned. Ain't nobody trying to get canceled. So we thank you once again. That number has put in our social media streams. If you're listening on KISS WTLZ 107.1 FM on the radio, or on kisswtlz.com on our web browser page, that number once again is 989-921-7107. You can let your thoughts be shared on this program. Great evening, great evening, great evening. I'm fighting through some stuffiness and a fever and achiness, not COVID. So we want to certainly thank you for what's going on. We got somebody on the line. Matt, who do we have on the line?
Up next, we have Jeff, and he's from Saginaw.
All right, we got Jeff from Saginaw. He's on the line. Hello, Jeff. How you doing, sir? Hello, Jeff.
Jeff, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, Jeff. How you doing, my man? Is this Jeff, Mr. Cap Bulls? Jeff, can you hear me? All right, so we're going to figure out what's going on with Jeff. Matt's going to work that out. As you see, whenever you do something new, technology is great when it works, and when it doesn't, it's trash. But we're glad to be here today. Matthew, are we good with Jeff, or what's going on?
I'm trying to work that out right now.
Okay, you work that out. But we're going to talk about what's on my mind. And today we're going to have a conversation with Jack and Jill Incorporated, the Great Lakes Bay Region chapter. I have some of those fine sisters that are with us here today. But before we go, we always talk about those things that are most pressing in our community. And I told you that I would start each of my sessions off this year with some Black history information. What is it that's going on? What are we talking about? What's dealing? What's happening? All of that good stuff. And so I want us today, we're going to talk about Jim Jordan. Those of you who have been watching what's happening in politics down at the People's House in DC, Jim Jordan, after Scalise, is now another individual since the removing of Kevin McCarthy as the Speaker of the House. He has gone down for a third time, literally up in smoke, losing upwards of 20 individuals, 20 of his own caucus at one point in time. While I was watching this show live, it seemed almost that Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat, had more chance of becoming the Speaker of the House than he did. Once again, we shared with you all why this is so important. Jim Jordan, who is what I would call or term a Trumplican from the 4th District of Ohio, he was, out there trying to make a way for himself. He is one of Donald Trump's greatest allies for those individuals who are in the House. And so he went down and they're trying to rebrand themselves while dealing with the issues in-house, which is a very difficult thing to do. So he went down a third time. But what's interesting is I was watching an interview with Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is the former candidate for president. He was actually the select candidate. And he was Republican governor out of Utah. His father, I was listening to this, and he was talking about how the Republicans, the majority of those that are working with him right now in the House and in the Senate and different places, that they don't even believe in the Constitution anymore. And I began to read some things because I thought I remembered his father's name, or that last name Romney, in Michigan's history. As a matter of fact, I saw it on a plaque outside of a church on Washington Avenue in the city of Saginaw. And it said, it was talking about George Romney, who ran for Republican. He was actually the governor of Michigan. We're going to get to the Black history portion of this. Governor Romney, George Romney, and he ran, he was the governor of Michigan for a number of years. When Barry Goldwater, and that's a key name for some of you historian buffs, when Barry Goldwater ran in for president, he was considered, at that point, blacks were considered Republicans. You know, when we came in, we were part of the party of Lincoln. Blacks were traditionally or historically a part of the Republican Party until the Republican Party put to nominate a Barry Goldwater, Republican out of Arizona, who was considered inflammatory racist. And people were like, no, we can't do this. The Republican Party was ready to go ahead and nominate him as a person. But we had George Romney, Mitt's father, who was the governor of Michigan at the time, who fought against him and refused to vote for him on 2 occasions to receive the nomination. Eventually he did. And this is Mitt Romney's father. Eventually he did, going in battle against Lyndon B. Johnson. Much of the black population who were historically Republicans, that is where we began to see the shift from Republicans to Democrat in the battle against Romney, the battle against Goldwater and Lyndon B. Johnson. We know that Lyndon B. Johnson went on to win the 36th presidency, and then he also was key and became the person who signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Just something for you all to know as we talk about it, because I am 365 black, right? All right, so we have Mr. Jeff on the line. Jeff, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Jeff, you're calling in a Straight Talk. So thankful you're not a stranger here. What's on your mind? Give it to us in a few seconds.
Okay. I really just wanted to shout out Antonio Brooks and his group of Families Against Narcotics. They helped us out with our CAP talk this week on opioids and the opioid epidemic. And I wanted to shout them out. They did a great job sharing information with the community. As you know, the opioid crisis is critical, and it's not being talked about heavily. It's not being talked about enough. And so we wanted to put it out there. They did an incredible job, and I wanted to shout them out. Now, I want us to continue that conversation. It really needs to happen. So many of our loved ones are we've lost a lot of our loved ones. So many of them are ODing. So much information that I didn't know. I didn't know that people were actually pressing their own pills out here. It's crazy, but it needs to be talked about heavily.
So how was the attendance for the event on the opioid crisis?
It was great. We had a few people in person, and as always, we do a hybrid meeting. So we had a lot of people online watching as well. And so it was a great turnout both ways. And a lot of people got a lot of great information. People asked questions. People shared some of their personal stories. And again, it's just something that, I think if more people knew that other people are suffering like them, we can really talk about this and actually do something about it.
Wow, I certainly thank you for calling in, Jeff. Thank you for being our very first live caller on Straight Talk. You can take that with you for the rest of eternity. It is your portion of history. Thank you for calling in. And for those who are listening out there, hey, once again, you can call in between now and 9, 15 or 6 and 615, excuse me. The number is 989-921-7107. You can get live in here and share your thoughts. We're going to continue with what's on my mind. I want to talk about really briefly the Saginaw High school community meeting that took place. We understood what happened with the tailgate situation. There was a board meeting. Then there was a meeting that was set up the following week. From my understanding and talking with those individuals who were part of the meeting and with some students who were highlighted in that meeting, that the meeting was very short. Temperatures were high, abrupt, and there was abrupt end to the meeting by Superintendent Roberts. Now, I'm going to say something in my unpopular opinion. I know y'all ain't going to like this, but I'm going to tell you anyways, because I'm going to give it to you straight, no chaser and filter. There were some conversations about toilets not being in operation, the cafeteria not being in operation. And I told some people, well, when things are under construction, those things are kind of typical. I do believe that our children deserve the best. I do believe that our children should have operational toilets and cafeterias and all of those things. And what we often do is we want to go to the administrators because we put them in place to handle the issues that are important to us. But I want to talk a little bit and look at this perspective of what's happening in our schools from a very different perspective. When we look at this, I was talking with someone briefly just today before coming on, and we looked at, where have our populations gone? It's not that the people have left the city of Saginaw. It's not that all those students have moved away to, to Hawaii and Tennessee and other places and are now no longer in the area. The fact of the matter is that we've seen, because of situations in our schools and parents wanting their children to have the best education, they moved them to other populations. And so when we look at this, they were talking about how Bridgeport now looks like a black school. Anybody who grew up in the 80s and 90s or before knew that that was not the case. Historically, Bridgeport was always a white school with a few folks sprinkled in there, a little pepper added to the flavor. Then we also look at Carlton. I went to Carlton High School, and I was the only black in some situations. There was probably 5 blacks. Well, we all played basketball. We were all the starting 5. But there were other blacks, probably about 10 blacks in the school, 15 blacks maybe when I was there. And that was a growing population of black folks that were happening. And now we're seeing students not only in Bridgeport and Carlton, but they're in Swan Valley and is even as far as Freeland. So I'm going to say this in my unpopular opinion. You don't have to like it, but my thoughts matter. This is my show, and I'm going to give it to you the way I see it. When I look at this this year, the state of Michigan plans to give out about $9,608 per student. That means that wherever that student shows up for count day, where that student is populated in the community, that school will receive $9,608 per student. And when we look at some of the issues that we're talking about, some of the issues that have historically been a part of what's taking place in our Saginaw public schools, at 100 students returning to the district, because they aren't gone, they just went somewhere else because they wanted to have a better education, a better this or whatever. And so, in really thinking about the fact that when I leave, I'm not just going to get what they have, but I'm also taking away from what I might be able to provide in my own neighborhood. And when your schools are depleted, I'm going to tell you, people will transfer, travel, move, do whatever is necessary to provide their children with a great education. So I understand the philosophy, but what I also must bring to the picture is that when I look at SASA is now an open enrollment school. When I'm dealing with programs, the first students to sign up are from our SASA students. The other thing about that is that I recognize that many of those students don't live in the city, 48601, 48602. Many of those students are coming, and I've taken them, so you can't tell me what I don't know. I've picked them up because parents, they were maybe in an after-school program, and I picked them up, and I have literally driven those kids who needed a ride home back to Hemlock and back to Midland and back to Freeland, the very places that we run to, but they see something, a diamond in the rough in our school, that they'll come here and they'll get that. So at 100 students returning back to our district, that's $960,000. At 200 students, unless my math is off, and if my math ain't mathing, you let me know. At 200 students, we double that number. At 1.9, $2.21 million. At 300 students, that's $2.882 million. So why am I giving you these numbers? Why do these statistics matter? Because a lot of the issues that we have would be taken care of if our students would return back to the district. Because what happens is when you don't have students, you have to go down. I remember when I went to Carlton, we were a Class C school. Shortly after I left Carlton, we became a Class D school. And I was wondering what was going to happen with the district. But what they did was that they never allowed before is they had open enrollment. We need kids. We know y'all want to come to our school because we're going to give them the education that you think they should deserve. And so they opened their enrollment. And then what happened is Saginaw Public Schools came over there. So Carlton is now, I believe, a Class B school. And when we look at them being a Class B school, and we look at the declining numbers in Saginaw Public Schools, there is a direct relationship between their growth as a Class B school, being able to do great things, take trips, build things out, have running toilets, a cafeteria that works, updated parking on a regular basis, paint that is often updated and restored. Things aren't broken, they get repaired. Parents, we have a part to play in that discussion. I know it don't feel good. I know you don't want to talk about it, but money just doesn't come out of the air. So as we get mad at Dr. Roberts and the school board, let's take a look at where you put your kids at and where those dollars went. All right. So we're going to continue in our conversation today. Like I told you before we got started, I'm starting to see some of the population come in. We're going to talk today with Jack and Jill Incorporated, the Great Lakes Bay Region chapter. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back from that commercial break, we'll continue the conversation with Jack and Jill. Don't go anyway. Stay tuned for this conversation. You are surely to be inspired by all the great work they're doing. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
Batter up, Mid-Michigan. Ryan Wassick here from Bell Wassick GMC Buick, your only local Buick dealer and home of the lifetime warranty. I want to watch the great American pastime, but my bases are loaded and I'm way too busy. So this month, help me catch up, and I'll help you catch a fly deal. It's my World Series of trade-ins. So if your old ride's a swing and a miss, you could get up to $3,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value based on the price of the car you pick. Only during my Grand Slam Payoff Playoff. Plus, my solution specialists are better than a box of Cracker Jacks. They never let the fear of striking out keep them from trying their hardest. Our goal is to hit a home run every time so you can drive home in a car you love. So if your old ride's been striking out, pitch it, and you can get up to $3,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value based on the price of the car you pick. But hurry, just 1, 2, 3 strikes and this deal is out. I'm Ryan Wassick and I'm your dealer for the people and your only local Buick dealer. See my all-star rides at RyanApproved.com. That's RyanApproved.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price determines actual trade allowance. Negative equity may be refinanced. Offer absolutely ends October 31st, 2023.
Great Lakes Bay Job Fair is back again Thursday, October 26th from 1 until 3 p.m. on the campus of Delta College. Meet with top industry professionals in the Great Lakes Bay region. Learn about exciting careers in healthcare, manufacturing, criminal justice, and more. This event is open to the public. Dress professionally, bring your resume, collect business cards, take notes, and follow up with employers. Great Lakes Bay Job Fair Thursday, October 26th from 1 until 3 p.m. For details, visit delta.edu/job fair, bringing you and opportunities together.
And Doug. With Liberty Mutual, you can customize and save hundreds on your car insurance. But what to buy with those savings? Yep, I bought a sound effects machine.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Hey, it's Steve Harvey, y'all. Here's what happened on the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Tyrese is being sued by Fast and Furious director Brian Barber for defamation and libel, and he wants $10 million in damages.
Well, Tyrese, tables have turned. Here come another song. Sue me. Oh, Lord. They trying to sue me. It's 107.1, simply the best.
This is the KISS community page where you'll find out about everything going on in the Great Lakes Bay region areas of Saginaw, Bay City, and Midland. Michigan State University Extension is offering a free mental health first aid class that's happening Wednesday, October 11th and Thursday, October the 12th from 12:30 until 4:30 p.m. Learn how to assist someone experiencing a mental health challenge or crisis. This is a virtual event and you must register online. Great Lakes Bay Community Resource Association along with Shiloh Baptist Church invite you to a resource fair. Saturday, October 14th at Shiloh Baptist Church, 295 Grant Street in Carlton Township. The fun is from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. There will be health screenings, free raffle drawings, and safety helmets for kids. Remembering our babies in heaven together. The Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day is October the 14th, and Wave of Light is having a free community remembrance event for families who have experienced pregnancy and infant loss and their friends and family. It takes place from 6 until 8 p.m. at the Saginaw Township Soccer Complex, 3575 McCarty Road in Saginaw. Community organizers, please send your events to the KISS community page at least 2 weeks in advance. For more details and to find out about all the great events, log on to KISSWTLZ.com.
It's Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
Good evening, ladies. You are back with a conversation on Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen. I have two amazing, lovely, beautiful ladies that have now entered our social media stream. None other than Jermaine Foley and Janelle Smith. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Hi.
All right. I was hoping that we got the tech part right. We're doing something new. And for those of you who are listening, we're going to talk with these ladies a little bit about what they have going on as it relates to Jack and Jill. But I want to give you that number once again. That number is 989-921-7107. If I was feeling a little bit better, I'd put it in and let it stroll across and say, once again, 989-921-7107. You can ask questions, you can put your opinion and make it heard. So we have these wonderful women who are part of Jack and Jill, the Great Lakes Bay chapter. Just to let you all know a little bit about Jack and Jill, because I'll tell you, this is something new for me. It's new for the community. But so far, this organization has received national awards for STEM services and legislative programs. 3 of the first teen group grade grads received degrees from Spelman College in this year, 2023. They were a part of the group of advocacy for the Crown Act. For those of you who are like, what is the Crown Act? We're not talking about the Queen of England. We're talking about being able to wear your natural hair and don't care in the workplace. They were sharing their experiences with legislators, but there was a significant impact. And I do know exactly this individual that we're referring to here. There was a loss of a charter member to domestic violence in 2021. All of our hearts were impacted. The community was impacted because we understood who that person was and the value that she possessed. And I'm told that there was an impact and a change to the organization, as surely there would be because of that situation. So we're going to talk about this and other things as we continue this conversation. So, Miss Janelle, first of all, I got to holler at my sister, Janelle. So we go back. She popped into the backstage and I saw her when I was talking about Carlton. She grew up, she knows, she one of the proper sisters as well. Grew up in Carlton. Janelle, how would you explain your experience at Carlton growing up?
My experience was great. I felt like Carlton had a lot to learn about diversity, but we were very involved and engaged in promoting that. But I felt like I had a great experience. We were like family at Carlton. So it was a great experience for me.
Okay, it was a great experience for me as well. We was Black and we understood that we was Black. We understood some things that they didn't quite understand. But the conversation that we were having earlier is that there weren't a whole pool of us at the school during that period of time.
No.
And when we look at what we see now, it's exciting to see diversity. But that diversity for public schools comes with a price. All right, now I want to transition to this other lady. I have talked with her husband for years, almost decades. I've heard her name in the community so many times, but this is actually the first time I think that we have been able to actually have a conversation. So welcome, Jermaine Foley. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. And my husband said, "What's up?"
I'm recovering. Tell him I'm recovering, as I'm sure he is,
Yes.
from the wounds that we were inflicted on yesterday's game. For all you
Oh, yes.
Walmart Wolverines out there, I hope you enjoy your period of celebration. We were already prepared for what the inevitable was.
Right.
Yes, I see you laughing, Janelle. Tell your husband, stand strong, 10 toes
Blue.
down. All right. So tell me, why don't you share, both of you, a little bit about yourselves? We'll start with you, Jermaine. Share a little bit about who you are before we get into this conversation about the great work that you all are doing.
Well, I am a mom, a wife, and currently serving as the chapter president of Jack and Jill of America, the Great Lakes Bay Region chapter. And I'm excited to be here to talk about what we've been up to, the work we've been doing in the community, and to invite everyone out to celebrate with us this weekend. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit.
Let's talk about being a mom, because you have gone through some major changes as it relates to the process of being a parent with your kids growing up. How are the boys doing?
They are great. One is home for fall break, so it's
Already?
Yeah, they get 2 days. They get Monday and Tuesday off, and so he's home. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, I mean, it was a big transition to have one go away. And Janelle, you know this very well. But I'm doing better than I was a couple of weeks ago. Let's just put it that way.
What was the major difference? What was the challenge for you? Because you are pushing your way towards an empty nester, and while
Mhm.
husbands are often happy when the first one leaves the nest for a mom, it's a very different experience. Why don't you share with us what that was like for you?
It was surreal. I thought I was ready, but just the quietness of the house, not having to buy as many groceries. I mean, that's kind of a plus, but it's definitely different. um, the house is a little cleaner, but it's just quieter, and I don't talk to him as much as I used to. So that's tough.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we certainly pray for you in your transition. I think you're gonna be okay. All right, Janelle, you
Thank you.
two have experiences. She alluded to you with those changes, the changing dynamics of getting kids out of the house. How have you been coping with this? Because you a mama bear who loves her cubs.
I do. It was difficult the first year that Caleb left the house, but he's close. He's at Northwood, so I see him every now and then. But it was difficult. The house was quiet. Like the
Mhm.
food, like food would go bad because he ate everything in the house. So that was different. But I do call him quite often. He doesn't answer all the time, but I call him quite often because I just want to hear him. Talk to him. I want to hear his voice.
I remember that when my parents didn't call me, it was always because I was studying hard. That was my answer. Yeah, I was
Right.
studying. I was at the library.
Yep.
Didn't
Study
hear the call.
hard.
But you ladies are here as a part of the Jack and Jill Inc. So tell us a little bit about Jack and Jill, because when I thought about Jack and Jill, the first thing that came to mind was the nursery rhyme. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. And I found out when I was preparing to have this conversation with you guys, I was like, there's a whole nother line. Jack jumped up and went home, and he wrapped themselves in paper towel and vinegar. I'm like, I missed that one. But Jack and Jill, we're not talking about that, or are we talking about any references toward that nursery rhyme?
No, we are not. So Jack and Jill of America Incorporated is a organization for mothers who are dedicated to nurturing future African American leaders. And we've been around since 1938, and we have over 260 chapters nationwide. And we've got one right here in the Great Lakes Bay region. We cover Saginaw, Midland, Bay City, and the surrounding areas. And we provide programming to children, and you alluded to this at the very beginning, not only for our children, but for children in our community as well.
Wow, that's amazing. So how long is the Great Lakes Bay Region chapter existed as an entity?
We will be celebrating 5 years this coming Saturday to the date. So we've been in the area for 5 years.
So you guys are making some serious impacts. If we're creating African-American leaders, we got 3 already with degrees. I can understand why we would want to boast that type of experience. Janelle, I want to ask you this question. Why Jack and Jill?
Well, I felt Jack and Jill was important for my boys because I wanted my boys to have the same advantages as other children, but the advantages and the opportunities and the programming and the learning experiences for people and children of our color. And I felt like the organization provided that. They provide STEM training, leadership training. Caleb, my oldest, was a little shy. And so he got some leadership training. They have this teen conference where he came back and was just a different person. He got to see people of color, his age, that were similar to him. They like soccer. They like the kind of things that he did. So it was a great experience for him.
I want you to share with me. You were talking about how your son likes soccer like he did, because a lot of traditional Black folks in our community will often say that's a white kid sport. Why are your kid playing soccer? But if they would really look at some of the greats, they would see that the greats were people of color, Black folk, Black men doing extraordinary things. Talk with me why representation matters.
It matters. I mean, it just matters, especially in places where we don't normally see ourselves. It matters to give our children the opportunity to look at that and say, oh, I can do that. I can be that. Just like when we had a Black president. Now our children are looking at that opportunity like, we could be that. We could do that. So in soccer, there is not a huge representation. There is a lot more now, but we have to teach our children also, like Pele was one of the greatest, and he was Black. So representation matters.
You know, I think about this, and I love when I have the opportunity to talk to other people who work in spaces with young people. And one of the things that often comes up, Jermaine, is people are like, why does there have to be one for Black people? Why does there have to be one that focuses on creating? Why can't it just create all leaders? Could you please speak to that and why there is a need for us to put some specialized efforts toward really looking at young Black men and women as a part of this underserved community? Why is it important to do so? Why?
Yeah, so if you think about our founder, her name was Marion Stubbs Thomas. She founded Jack and Jill in 1938. Can you imagine what it was like raising young children back then, right? They weren't able to swim in public swimming pools. They weren't able to be afforded everything that their white counterparts were able to experience. And even today, so many years from now, you still see the disparities. You still see the rates, how our children are not as prepared for college. They are still experiencing racism. We still have, even though we are not in I guess, a segregated school system, we still see that. We still see disparities in school systems and the kinds of offerings for suburban schools versus urban schools. So we still see it. And so we just want to point that out and know that, yes, our children do need something that is dedicated to them because it's just needed. And unfortunately, if the world isn't going to give it to them, then that's where we have to come in and give it to them.
If the village does not step up and prepare what's needed for our community, then we're in trouble. Mm-hmm. You were talking about the issues of disparity, and that is really the driving force behind this. It is not reverse racism. It doesn't come from those places. Because I'll tell you right now, I have many programs that I work with young Black students. And, those young Black students, they have, young white friends who live in, next door or around a corner or a community that's worse than theirs. And they're like, I know this is for underserved. I'm like, well, his demographics are very similar to your demographics. You can bring him with you because it's not necessarily, we're not trying to say Black or white, but it's populations who are underserved experience certain ails to the community that we have to be able to see. And now we're seeing a transitioning from it being so much black and white, to some issues becoming really economic issues. There are some economic issues, but there are still things that are tied to the color of our skin. And I want us to take a pivot when we look at what's happening in Florida. No one's wearing capes with hooded hats anymore. No one's coming and grabbing your sons and daughters out of their house, telling them that they can't read books. But we're removing and changing texts that are available. We are limiting opportunities for us to be expressing ourselves in certain areas. What are the types of things that we see as barriers that are happening up here in the north, in the Great Lakes Bay region, that still need to be addressed?
Well, one of the things, and Janelle, chime in if you like to, I always point just to the Crown Act. I mean, we have young kids who were uncomfortable wearing their own hair to school. And they were being teased. People, touching their hair, saying, "Oh, you look like you got worms in your head." So, I mean, this has happened. This is not just about the North versus the South. This is just what's happening. And, Jack and Jill, we were influential in helping to pass the Crown Act. And we had tough conversations with local state legislators who actually joined in on the conversation, and we educated them, and we were able to tell them about our experiences. Actually, it wasn't me, it was the kids. They did it all. And that's just an example of what they're going through. So yeah, our kids do deal with microaggressions and it doesn't matter if it's North or South.
Janelle, looking at you and seeing you as the beautiful queen that you are, both of you, welcome Black Queens. I promised myself that whenever I had my sisters on, I would always refer to you as beautiful queens. So welcome, beautiful queens.
Thank you.
But I'm looking at your hair, and we're having this conversation about the Crown Act. And you rock your locks when you want to rock them. And I know that you and I both have had similar experiences growing up with people, when we would come in with the afro back in the day, wanting to touch your hair. Oh, it feels like cotton, and wanting to touch your braids or your barrettes. Why is a child's ability to be fully expressing himself with how he wears his hair important in a school setting?
It's important for confidence. I mean, like when our children go to school, I had growing up, at Carrollton, we had experiences where people want to touch our hair or say, "How'd you get that?" And one of my best friends was Caucasian, so I had to educate her, like, you just can't go and touch somebody's hair. Like, let me educate you on how
leave my Jerry curl juice alone. This is mine.
You just can't touch my hair. So education, it's confidence, because when we go to school, our other counterparts, they get to wear their hair however they want to express. So why can't we express ourselves the same way? So I feel it builds confidence, and confidence is very important when children are in school. It matters.
As a man thinketh in his heart, and I always tell people that the heart is not the pumping heart, but the heart in your head, your mind, so is he. So being self-confident is such a vital part of a child's ability to succeed. So let's talk a little bit about what you ladies have going on. There's some great things happening this week. So let's share. Let's talk about what you guys have going this coming week.
Yes. So, as I mentioned, we've done some award-winning programming for our children. We also had a really great swim program that we put on, but there's still a lot of work to be done. We chartered with 19 charter members. So 19 mothers said, yes, let's bring Jack and Jill to the Great Lakes Bay region. And unfortunately, we lost one to domestic violence. And so we have two purposes this weekend. We want to celebrate our anniversary, but we want to honor Shantina Davenport, who was our beloved charter member. And so we are going to party with a purpose this weekend at Harlem Nights.
Okay, so we're talking, what does Harlem Nights entail?
Janelle, you want to tell him?
Yeah,
she's the co-chair. So Janelle is the co-chair.
So a night in Harlem is going to entail like the Renaissance theme. We're going to have like entertainment, dancing, a silent auction, casinos, a cash bar, but it's all for a purpose. We're raising this money for 3 local shelters in this area to provide resources for children and family in domestic violent shelters. And those shelters are the Underground Railroad, the Shelter House of Midland, and the Bay Area Women's Center. So it's going to be an amazing time, but we are partying for a purpose in honor of our mother, Shantina Davenport.
Okay, so give us the location. Where is this all taking place? This sounds exciting. I'm about to go dust off my Stacey Adams right now and get my little thin tie and my brim hat. Right? Where is this taking place?
It's at the Horizons Conference Center, 6200 State Street. We'll be there. It begins at 7:00 p.m.
This is a huge undertaking for an organization, just 5 years old, but you guys have been impacted. And I always say that when you're impacted by something, it changes you in a way than just seeing someone else go through it. We're going to reverse just a little bit, and let's talk a little bit about Miss Davenport. And we don't want to talk necessarily about her because I don't want to take our family through another traumatic episode. But let's talk about the loss of her. How has it impacted you as an organization? When the details came in, I think the entire community was shook. But how would you guys express it changed you as an organization?
Man, I mean, just going back to that time, it just did something to me that I literally couldn't sleep for a whole month. I mean, I was anxious. I felt unsafe. I felt for her children. Her children were just robbed of their mother, and they had already lost their father. It was just very, very traumatic, not only for us, but I mean, just imagine her family.
Absolutely. So when we look at this Harlem Nights event, who's our target audience? Who are we expecting to get in the house? How should we come? Prepared? How should we dress? Give me the details of the event.
You need to come dressed to impress. This is like a Harlem Renaissance formal event. Like, come dressed to impress. We're going to party, have a great time, but we're going to focus on the reason that we're there also. We have some amazing sponsors that I'll talk about a little later, but come dressed to impress.
Absolutely. And it's for anyone who wants to come and have a good time. It's for adults only, I will say that. And we want you all to just come and enjoy yourself. We're going to have, like Janelle said, casino games. We're going to be dancing. DJ Chris McKinney is going to be our DJ. And he's actually one of our dads in Jack and Jill. So we're going to have a great time.
You said that, and it made me think about like a 1980s hip hop concert. He's on the ones and twos. DJ Chris McKinney is on the ones and twos. But I want to ask a question, and I know the answer, but I'm going to ask this for the sake of answering, for the sake of asking. Is this a Black thing? It's Harlem Nights. Is this a Black thing?
No.
Oh, no. Everybody's welcome.
Anybody and every adult in this area, Tri-Cities area, or Detroit. We have people coming in from Detroit, from Ohio. We have people from all over coming in for this. So it's for all adults of all races, all colors. Come and enjoy.
Absolutely.
Now, I do want to I want to throw this out there because in looking, because I looked at your website and was looking at different things that you guys were putting together. I noticed a strong contingency of the Divine Nine that is a part of your makeup. Share with us, because I think what's interesting is that many of us hear that organizations like the Alphas and the Deltas and the AKAs are philanthropic and that they're community-based and organizations. And I think that you guys have a strong presence. So share with us, do you have an affiliation with these organizations, your membership? What's the situation?
So Jack and Jill is a standalone organization, but some of our members are definitely a part of D9 organizations. And so some of us have gone back to our respective organizations and said, hey, do you want to support us? So we do have the support because at the end of the day, we're a village and we're all in this together.
That's why I asked that question, because a lot of people are like, oh, that's just something that the AKAs are doing. But no, this is something that everyday people who are concerned about raising Black leaders, African American leaders, are a part of. So whether you are a Delta, an AKA, or whatever your affiliation may be with the Divine Nine or not, this is open for you because it's really about impacting our community. And Matt, I'm seeing an answer from you. Is there something going on the phones over there, Matt?
Oh, no, not yet. But I just wanted you to know that we're now accepting live callers and open air callers. So yeah.
Okay, we certainly appreciate Matt is on it. He keeps me in check, y'all. For those of you who are listening in our social media streams, what Matt is saying is if you guys have any questions for them or anything that you've heard today, or you just like to call and give a shout out, we're now allowing you to do so by calling 989-921-7107. What I need you ladies to do really quick is give me some information. If there are other people that are hearing, how do they get involved with your program? I want to be a part of Jack and Jill. Does it work on mentors? How does your system work?
So if you want to join us this weekend, tickets can be purchased on Eventbrite. And if you want to learn more about membership in Jack and Jill, we have a Facebook page. It's Jack and Jill of America, Great Lakes Bay Region chapter. And just send us a message and say you're interested in what we're working on. I get messages all the time. I actually man them myself since I'm the chapter president, and I respond to every single message. So just let us know if you're interested.
So what does membership look like? I guess is another question I want. If I want to sign up, I want to get involved, but I need to have some kind of idea what type of commitment, because time is of the essence these days. What am I signing up for when I say that I want to be a part of what you guys are doing? What does that time commitment look like?
The time commitment will depend on actually the age of your children. I think it depends on how many children you have, because what we do is we do monthly programs for the kids. So if you have kids in multiple age groups, you may have multiple programs. But we say we're looking for women who have the interest in our mission and who are willing to put in the time to make the mission happen. So we're all busy, but we're looking for people who are willing to carve out time so that we can create these future leaders.
If I could put this in my own words, I'm just saying, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be 1 hour a week. You're going to be a part of this, and what it takes to get the work done is what we will all do together. Is that clear, or is that fair?
That is very clear, because no, it's definitely not going to just be 1 hour a week. Some weeks that may be it, but most weeks. I mean, come on, Janelle, how many hours would you say?
Well, I'm the treasurer, so I spend a lot of time working on money, but it depends on, like, I feel like you spend a lot of time with your children, and then when you take them to this program, you're spending time with your children. So it's the same. You spend time with your children at home, you're spending time with your children with a program.
Yeah, and it's so rewarding. It's definitely worth the time investment.
So you guys led me to a question that I was kind of thinking in the back of my head. So there is a mandate. I noticed that if you have kids in the program, if you have can you have kids in the program and you not be a part of the program as a parent?
No. So the membership is with the mother. The mother holds the membership.
Okay. What about fathers? Dads are parents too.
Listen, okay, so the mothers hold the
want
membership.
Equality.
The mothers hold the membership, and fathers are allowed to participate. We actually have something called the Jack Pack, so we include the dads too.
So dads are able to. So what you're saying is, like, look, if you think that your kids need this, we're not going to allow you to just drop your children off, because we see that in so many programs. You drop it off. I got a hair appointment. What time do I need to be back? But you're challenging a parent to say, well, if you think that this is important, we need you to stay here and continue to foster an environment that allows your child to pay attention, to learn, to be attentive, and present their best selves as a part of this process.
Absolutely, because the mother is we're the women, the people that create the program. So it's not like there's just this organization and the programming is built in. No, we create the programs for the kids. So no, this is a very hands-on, and you definitely need to be interested, and you definitely need to be willing to put in the time to make these programs as amazing as they have been.
Okay, so share with me once again all of the details of Harlem Nights for those who are just coming in. If you have any questions for these two beautiful queens, the number is 989-921-7107. We certainly give you the opportunity to come in and ask or to share your thoughts and opinions. But Miss Chair for it's Harlem Nights, correct?
Yes.
You know, when I think about Harlem Nights, I don't know about y'all. Were you thinking about the Eddie Murphy and Della Reese movie and the pinstripe zoot suits with the white? Am I in the right place?
You're in the right place. You're in the right place. That
and it's a night in Harlem. A night in Harlem.
A night in Harlem, not
a night in Harlem. Okay.
A night in Harlem.
We're not trying to get sued in here for copyright infringement or brand infringement, but a night in Harlem.
Night in Harlem, our 5th anniversary gala. And it's going to be held at Horizons Conference Center, Saturday, October 28th at 7 p.m.
Once again, how do we get our hands on those tickets?
You can go to Eventbrite. You can go, we posted everything on our Facebook page, Jack and Jill of America, Great Lakes Bay Region. Our Facebook page has all of the information on Eventbrite. And just really quick, I want to tell you, like, this isn't a small event. Who some of our sponsors are: Delta College, Saginaw Valley State University, Horizons Conference Center, Wildfire Credit Union, Team One Credit Union, Dow Credit Union. We have Jimmy Green and Associates. We have Mu Alpha Omega. We want to thank them. The AKAs in Midland, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority stepped up, the Midland and Saginaw chapters. We have a ton of other sponsors, but those are our main ones. The Tri-City Links, they're a sponsor. Tri-City Business Services, Enbridge. We have a ton of sponsors that wanted to donate and wanted to make this event successful for our mother, Shantina Davenport.
I think that is absolutely amazing. Kudos to all of those sponsors who are out there doing great work. In addition to this amazing experience of Harlem on this coming week, what else do you guys have involved going on? What are some things that we might see on the horizon for Jack and Jill?
You know what? We're just polishing up our program calendar. So I am not the program director, but I know we've got some good stuff coming up. That's all I can say.
Well, one thing I'll tell you, Tiffany Terrain and everybody.
Yes, she's our program director.
Our program director.
Okay, this is our Tiffany Terrain segment. All right, Saginaw, we're going to give flowers to Tiffany Terrain.
Yes,
because she is. I don't believe she was originally from Saginaw, correct?
No, she's not. She's from Louisiana.
From Louisiana, Southern, so she comes to this area. And I want to say something that is so funny. I was in a meeting with a group of Dow employees. And one of them was like, "Hey, Kareem, we really need you to connect with Tiffany Terrain and just kind of show her around and introduce her to some people in the community because you know people, right?" So I'm like, "Cool, let me take my sister under wing." So in between the time that I met her on video, but in the time that I actually met her in person and the time that we were on video, I go into an event and I'm looking like, that's the lady that was on, that's Tiffany. So I go over and Tiffany is dancing. She knows everybody in the room. Every event that I promise you that I've gone to since then, be it in Midland, Bay City, I mean, she has been a crucial part of either, making people come together, connecting people, helping to connect them to resources, just being a brand ambassador for different programs and events. She has become the diversity queen in the Great Lakes Bay region. And so when I look at the Jack and Jill program and I look at what you guys are doing, I am extremely excited to know that the queen, Tiffany Terrain, and she's going to shoot me for this, is a part of this, because what it lets me know is that not only are you all doing great work and you are focusing on our young people who are most important and really developing leaders, but you are also carrying with you all someone who understands the importance of having diversity in a space. And so, Tiffany, you know you my queen. I love you. God bless you for all the work that you're doing. Y'all sit here like, this dude is crazy, but I really appreciate.
We love her also.
We do. And everything you said is correct. And I would say you said something, she's a connector. And
Yes,
100%. If it wasn't for her, this group would not be here today. Because I don't know if you knew this, but years ago, there was a Saginaw chapter of Jack and Jill. And I mean, I don't even know how long ago, because I'm not from the area either, but it dissolved. And so this was her vision to bring Jack and Jill back, but we spread it around the region. So not just Saginaw, but also Midland and Bay City and surrounding areas. So she is definitely a connector.
Yeah, well, I'm extremely excited and thanking you guys for being a part of this conversation. What you may not know is that we have some things that Tiffany and I were talking about. She also is one of my team members for the Dow Treasure Academy. And so there is some synergy between what you guys are doing in the space of professional development and what we're doing with the Dow Treasure Academy. And we said, hey, why don't we do this thing together? So I'm really excited. I'm not going to let the cat out the bag right now until we dot some I's and cross some T's. But I certainly want to thank you ladies once again for sharing the impact that you guys are making with the Jack and Jill Incorporated here in the Michigan Great Lakes Bay region. Once again, email, phone number, if someone needs to contact you.
Yes, you can email glbrpresident@gmail.com. And if you want to come to Harlem Nights and you're like, I don't feel like looking it up, let me just email me and I'll send it over. And sorry, there's some loudness in my house right now.
It's quite okay. Thank you once again. It's one night in Harlem. Coming to the city of Saginaw. For those of you who are in the surrounding areas, don't miss it. We certainly want to thank you ladies for your time and attention today. I want to thank my producer, Matt, for keeping things going over there, making it happen. We're trying out a new format. We got some callers on the first part of the show. It is great to hear your feedback. As always, this is not my show. This is our show. So thank you guys once again for tuning in to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen, where we give it to you straight, no chaser, no filter. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Grace and peace.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen